The Walt Disney Company decided to merge Disney Plus with Hulu, and now they are destroying both of them. But a huge ratings company might be hiding it from viewers and investors. It's the Nielsen Company, and today we'll show you what happened, how it's going, and why a little company called Luminate may have just illuminated the fate of Disney's streaming services. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel that continues to change hearts and minds simply by telling the truth with a capital T. As we dive in, consider clicking that like button. And folks, do we ever have a story for you? It's an exclusive. We'll go there right now. We've got an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen, brought to us by Mac at Now It's Known. He's got Luminate data, and we're going to put it together in just a second in a way that nobody else is so far. Luminate data reveal Disney Plus and Hulu are not keeping pace, and these numbers are terrible. Here we go. 2022 to 2025, Netflix competitors held or gained market share except for, look at these numbers. In 2022, according to Luminate, Disney Plus had 9% market share, Hulu had 7%. That's a 16% total. In 2023, Disney Plus dropped to 6%. Hulu dropped to 5% for an 11% market share. That is a 4% drop, which is very significant. That is 1/4 of the market share gone. In 2024, Disney Plus dropped another digit down to 4%. Hulu rose to 6%. Total 10%, 1% decline. And in 2025, Disney Plus is all the way down to 3% market share. Hulu holds at 6%, now at 9% market share. And you can go down here and you can see the graphic, folks. You can see what's happening. This is amazing. Now, what else is amazing is that they've decided to use different shades of mauve and different shades of chartreuse. Really, I mean, Luminate, what are you doing? Please, can we send someone over there, a graphic designer, to help you? Mauve and chartreuse. What are you doing? But if you can see the gold, that's Disney, and you can see, where is Hulu? Hulu is baby puke green. If you can look at the baby puke green or the 70s shag carpet green and the gold Disney Plus, anyway, it's a terrible graph, but the data is great.
Well, I just want to say for the men in the audience who are listening and not watching the screen, what he means is pink and mustard yellow.
No, yes. I mean ugly pink and ugly greenish yellow.
baby puke yellow. That's kind of what
it's unpleasant, and I use fancy words to hide it.
Yeah, look. Let's be honest about the whole thing.
I want to be honest.
I have to start writing about this over on That Park Place because I really feel like the business aspects are being ignored. So much so, and again, I'm not taking shots at That Park Place, one of my favorite employers and friends. All I have to say is there's a lot of conversation to be had in this space, like the fact that the Gauge report got put on pause, Pro. They haven't given us something. We don't have February numbers. I think we're in April. Somebody raise your hand if you think we're in April.
Let's see what we're in right now. If we go down to Gauge, we're still in January.
Yeah. So where's February, Pro? Where's February? Where's March? Where are the numbers we are supposed to be getting? They're terrified to release them, Pro. And I think I got to write an article about why. And then we need to start talking very seriously about the business side of Hollywood. Because I truly believe, and this is a conversation I had with Jonas today, I truly believe that nobody is taking any of this seriously anymore. Like, other than us, like especially Fake Wizard Pro and maybe Lorne. I don't know about Legal Mindset doesn't care about this stuff, but it's fine. It's okay. He's pretty. But look, I really feel like we need to start talking about these types of issues because think about how much ground is being lost by Disney, Fox, every other thing that they own. They're not taking advantage of their giant, conglomerate, their abilities, their catalogs. They're resting on their laurels. And under new leadership, do you think that's changed? I think Josh is, a poor man's version of Iger, and I'm very worried about the future of the Disney company.
Well, we're gonna keep an eye on Josh's laurels as best we can. I don't know where they're located, but if they're located anywhere we can't see, well, leave his laurels alone. Here's what I don't want to be left alone anymore, though, is that Nielsen combined all of Disney's services, and that's why you got this little asterisk over here. Do you all remember this about last year? You remember about this time last year when suddenly Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN all got shoved together? and now it makes up 4.9%. These numbers right here, when you add in ESPN to what we're seeing, because remember, what does Luminate tell us? Luminate tells us that Disney Plus and Hulu together have 9% market share in streaming, okay? If you look at the Nielsen data, and you consider for a moment that this is not just streaming that is being compared here, it's also got broadcast, cable, and other, which is video games. But streaming, Disney's at 4.9%. So if you take out, streaming's just about half of all viewership. If you double it, it turns out they're in full agreement because ESPN gets them to the 10%.
Oh, no.
4.9, it gets you the 10%. They're in agreement. I don't want to go too long on the math of this, but Luminate and Nielsen seem to be agreeing. The problem here that I have is that it looks to me like Nielsen purposefully shoved all these numbers together about a year ago to protect Disney, maybe, from being compared to Roku and Paramount Plus and Tubi. And I think Disney Plus, Wizard, I think that Disney Plus is actually underperforming Roku and maybe Tubi. But that would be too bad for investors to find out, so they had to hide it.
Yeah. Right now, there are two shows that are on. We have Daredevil, which is an MCU show, and we have Maul, which premiered on April 6th, so it's a little early out. But I'm curious if we're going to get actual numbers on these shows, because neither of these shows are even being talked about in the zeitgeist. So if we're able to take what just happened with Paramount over with Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, and we're able to take those numbers that Star Trek is underperforming to the magnitudes of an estimated 40,000 views per episode, which is embarrassing for a legacy property. And then we compare that to Daredevil, which no one is talking about. Everybody was talking about Starfleet Academy. The YouTubers were making videos about it. People were laughing at this show. And we compare it to a Star Wars and Marvel show. I don't know. It would appear Disney's hiding something, and that's something we should be holding them accountable for. What's really going on here? How much money is being spent on these shows? Maybe it's time Disney needs to start making things for general audiences again. I don't know. Is that too hard to think through? I'm not sure.
Well, they have one show that does that, and they don't own it. Andy Masterson, if we look here, Disney has a huge streaming problem. Bluey is now more popular than Star Wars and Marvel combined. Folks can go read this on thatparkplace.com. But if you look at the viewership numbers right now, this little show about cartoon dogs in Australia is outperforming Star Wars and Marvel and everything that they do. And it has to be because Disney decided they were going to make a horrific strategic decision to deliver woke and ideologically captured propaganda to kids. And all of it got turned off except for this. This cheeky stuff out of Australia is winning. It's all Disney has. If you took this out, Disney might be lower than streamers we've never even heard of.
And if I'm correct, Disney doesn't even own this.
No,
they're renting it.
They rent it from the BBC.
Yeah, they have a serious problem. Everything that they touch seems to turn into something brown and smelly. It's they've
What would that be, Andy? What are you alluding to there?
They've really done a number. I mean, who could have taken Star Wars, the thing that revolutionized movie merchandising, the thing that created an entire toy industry, and shuffled everything around from like dethroned the king and put in new players and everything, and completely changed the enterprises, the way that movies are done. And they turned it into useless and worthless within 10 years. I mean, that takes skill. That's not just an accident. That takes real talent to tank something that bad. And then to prove it wasn't a mistake, they did it to Marvel.
Right. And remember, I actually remember this. So Star Wars was going down, and we started hearing from Kevin Feige. They were going to do the same things as Marvel. It was like, really? That franchise that invented the term, blank fatigue, Star Wars fatigue, then became Marvel fatigue, became Disney animation fatigue, became Pixar fatigue, became Hollywood fatigue. It's crazy. Andrew, as we've watched this company, and these decisions were made under Iger. So to Culture's point, right, we'll see what happens with the new CEO. But it's amazing to me that not only on the legal side and the theme park side, not only do they make horrible decisions there, but it's also in entertainment, and it's the same kind of conniving maneuvers, right? If we can just get Nielsen to combine our stuff together, nobody will actually figure it out. Like, how many smoke and mirrors can the mouse pull out?
Well, and at a certain point, what does it become? And here's the bigger question from a legal standpoint. It's interesting to me. At what point does this all become a deceptive practice?
Yeah,
right?
well, that's a great question.
Because then you can have a consumer lawsuit, right? And like what they're doing and disclosures they're making. At what point are there breaches of contract? At what point, like, are there misrepresentations, right? Because they're like, at a certain point, somebody is being misled here. And somebody is relying on this data to make a decision point, and at some point somebody is gonna be mad about this, and there's gonna be damages, right? So there is some point at which this stuff becomes a problem.
Andrew, if somebody wanted to follow up on that, right? Now, I'm not suggesting anybody do so, and we're not here to give anybody legal advice about what they should do.
That this is speculation, right? Like it just is theoretical, right?
But theoretically, Andrew, if there was an email or if there was a phone call from the Walt Disney Company to Nielsen, pressuring them or positing to them that they should combine the numbers for some sort of outcome, would that be what someone would need to have really in their pocket when they've got an attorney to go after this?
Yeah, you need to document that. Obviously, you need some sort of email or phone call or proof that the Disney was actively saying, we're going to do this and here's the purpose for it. Or, suggest that be done, which is why it's always difficult to prove these things, right? Because a lot of times these are in seedy rat holes, and these discussions are had, in person, et cetera.
Why we have allegedly all the time.
And they're aware of this and the ability of discovery. I mean, Disney is very aware of discovery, right?
There's usually Finks and Epsteins involved, probably. I'm just saying.
Well, in some cases there are. I mean, and that's the other side of it, right? Is that these things are going on in other places, right? Or Pelosi's, et cetera, right? Yeah.
Yep. Lauren, as we look at it, though, the Bluey deal, the Star Wars, the Marvel, they just didn't have to kill the franchises. If they had just not killed Star Wars and Marvel, and the excuse now is we just made too much good stuff. That was the Star Wars excuse. They said we got to take a break. We got to put on the accelerator too hard. People just can't enjoy how awesome all this Star Wars is. And then it was the same thing for Marvel. We just made too much MCU stuff for Disney Plus. We got to pull it back. Lauren, all they had to do was not give us crappy Boba Fett, crappy Obi-Wan, crappy Acolyte, and they'd be doing just fine right now. I can't even begin to imagine how many hundreds of millions and billions of dollars they cost themselves by putting out terrible entertainment content.
Not to mention just the brand damage that will never be recovered. That's besides all of the damage that they've already done. I'm actually going to offend Fake Wizard here for a minute. I apologize. I have to do it. Marvin wanted me to talk about the mall show tomorrow for the Pro Show pre-show, so I had to resubscribe to Disney Plus for the first time in a long time. And one of the things that really struck me is that their subscription packages have changed since I was on there.
Oh, here we go. He made me do it. I was peer pressured by Marvin.
Well, this is what I think is interesting is when you look at their subscription packages, they've changed.
Like
what they display to you initially is, I think I'm probably going to get this wrong. It's like you have a Disney Hulu package, and that's ad supported for like really cheap. And you've got a Disney Hulu ESPN package that's also ad supported for really cheap. I think it's I don't know what it is. I forget. So then I wanted to see, okay, show me what your other packages are, because I don't want to be fed ads the whole time. And the next tiers up they display on the next page show that it's $11.99 for a non-ad supported package, but it's a 6-month term. And so they didn't show any others that weren't for a 6-month term. So I clicked on it just to see what it would tell me next. And they do actually offer a monthly term, but at that point, you've got to go up to $12.99 a month, which doesn't sound so bad. And that's, it's only $1 more than the ad-supported. So that's the one that I signed up for. But then I found when you started running it, they still show you ads. They still pop an ad up there. They just allow you to skip it. That shows you just how desperate for cash they are, because even on the non-ad supported tier, they're going to throw you ads and hope that you're walking away and not paying attention so they can still get the ad revenue off of it.
You think the Rock's skin suit there is going to have ads on the tattoo like Coca-Cola?
Ads in the little Maui animations. I love it. I'll tell you a little anecdote too on that note. So we discovered in a tax audit that a business had been using Hulu. I mean, Nobody was using it. There's just a Hulu account, stray Hulu account that was still being paid for subscription. And so we canceled that thing out. When we canceled the thing out, because there was no use in having it, when we canceled it out, we got like 80 different options. Please don't cancel. Please, what can we do? And there were like 80 different options of, you can have this and this and this with ads or no ads. You can have Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. You can have Disney Plus Premiere with not so Premiere Hulu. And how about a free ESPN? Would you like? It was so many options. Please don't unsubscribe from us, please. And now it makes perfect sense why they're doing that, because Luminate is revealing they're down to 9% total market share in streaming. That's not including the rest of TV. 4.5% without ESPN.
Look.
I back in here. Wiz, what were you? I don't want to cut Wiz off.
Yeah, I think you can you really blame people for unsubscribing? Look at the content. They're not making content that people want to watch, and even the content that they're making, it's boring. So you're not satisfying what the general audiences wanted anyway. But then what you are making is insufferable to even. You can't even make like YouTube videos on it because no one wants to watch the YouTube videos. We've reached new levels of filth. The rot needs to go, and you can only cover it up for so long. I liked what Andrew was saying a second ago. Like eventually, somebody's going to have to be held accountable here, and I think that's that time. That's just the timeline. We keep kicking the can down the road. Eventually, someone's going to have to answer the call, but it isn't today.
That's right. Culture, I'll give you the final word on all this. What are your thoughts about where we are in streaming and what Nielsen did to hide?
For whatever reason, and I said it earlier in a super chat that I sent, your prognostication is perfect. You knew that once we got the Project Hulk, which was incorporating, obviously Hulu and ESPN minus into the Disney
back
minus
in 2023, we scooped that one, yeah.
Yeah, you scooped it, and we knew that it was really just stepping backwards the entire time. I can't believe how right on the money you are every single time, Pro. It's
I'm going to give you the final word more often. That felt pretty good. I'll be honest with you. I'll take that any day. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, share that. I wish my wife heard that more. That's great. We'll go with that. It is such fun getting to spend time together, folks, but we have come to the end of yet another video. Well, that makes the mainstream scratch their heads, pull their hair out, and wonder, how is it we continue to do what we do? But you know what we do this for? It's for you. To keep bringing all the knowledge of entertainment, explaining what's going on in Hollyweird each and every day. And you can help us continue on that way by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. Share this out on your favorite social media platforms, and we would love to have you drop a comment right on down below. Share your thoughts because, well, your thoughts truly do matter, and we mean it. As we get ready to say goodbye, we end with the common refrain. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.